Not too sure actually, because I'm all of the above. I'm fantastic, multi-talented. It's nice for the compliments, but it's just I think I'm someone who's happy doing what I'm doing. It fortunately coincides with being funny and making people laugh, so I think it's an all-round benefit. I'm happy. I've never been beaten up so far. Never had anyone walk out on any of my shows, and I've never had anyone send me hate emails or death threats for my jokes. So I think I'm doing quite well so far. I'm basically Bangalore born. I'm Bangalore bred for sure. And I was an interesting child, I think. I was quite a brat. And I was an affectionate brat, I think I'd say. I was not thoroughly spoiled, but I needed to get my way with most things. And I wasn't a good child. At the same time, I wasn't a bad child. I'm just going to leave it as simple as that. I think it was there. It was, I liked humor and I also liked being funny, but I don't think it was anything. Yeah, I mean, it was just there. I didn't look at it as a talent. I didn't look at it as a skill. I didn't look at it as something I can use, especially for a career or for, for for the rest of my life as far as I see now. I was diagnosed, I think, between the age of 8 and 9. It wasn't like it didn't happen overnight because they weren't really sure what happened. I've been diagnosed with an eye condition. I was, and it still exists. It's called juvenile macular degeneration. Can't do certain things. I can't read, and I can't drive, and I can't play sports. Back then, strangely, I could write a little bit. Like I could, I'd get extra time, and I had to have a. I had my, in fact, when it started out, I had all my exam papers enlarged, like through a photocopy machine. The font was increased, so I would be able to read, and I'd get like I think 50% extra time, and that's how I could manage writing. But then in my ICSE, and I mean my entire sort of studying was done thanks to my mum because she'd read out all my textbooks for me, because bulk reading was a problem, and yeah, so pretty much all my exam material, all my textbooks, all my notes, everything was read out for her by her. And I remember even earlier in school, it was she would basically do all the research for my assignments and my projects, and like all the diagrams she would draw, and I just take the credit for it because people are like, wow, that's fantastic for an 8-year-old. I'm like, I know it is. I'm talented, full of it, right? I think I've always wanted to speak well, and because I couldn't sort of get into theatre, I've never taken any theatre workshops per se, right? I've never taken acting classes, and but I've always wanted to sort of impress people by speaking well. I don't know. I mean, obviously, growing up, you want to sort of impress people through various ways, and I think accent was one thing. But secondly, I think more importantly, something which stuck with me through the years of being in England and being in Wales and in the US was speaking well. But honestly, I didn't know I had a good voice, and you know, now I probably believe it a little bit because lots of people have told me. But I still don't think it's anything um, that spectacular. I think it's just life, just the way people behave, the way that the world works, and just things like I think it's just the source is people, and through that you have various outlets. You have what people do, what people say, what how people behave, what people make, what people don't make, what people spoil. So all these are just like sources of what people are. So I think that's why I say life, because it's what I'd say. I like to observe life, and I like to enjoy life, because through enjoying life you can observe life and you can listen to life. It's been good. I have no complaints, no regrets. I think that's the most important thing. No regrets at all. I don't wish that I had started comedy earlier. I don't want to go back and make myself a better student. I don't want to go back and undo anything. It's just, I'm glad I realized to accept what I have, and I'm glad to realize that I've discovered stand-up comedy, and I've glad to have made uh, the relationships that I have, especially with sort of grown relationships with, strengthen the relationships that I've had already, like the existing relationships, but also made new friendships, made new, of course, friendships, and I've ended some friendships as well, which I'm happy about because it's just, so I think, yeah, I think I'm just glad to be where I am and be who I am with who I am. Don't do it, I'd say, because there's more competition for me. Don't do it because you want to get popular. Don't do it because you want um, to get the ladies or the money. And don't do it if you're doing it because you're not original. Like if you're original, because if you start copying, then there's no point because then you're um, just you're a puppet of someone else's thoughts. But do it for the attention, the gratification of getting those laughs, getting people coming and telling you after the show it's nice, it's fantastic, and that's what keeps you going in one part of your comedy career, because you want your writing, your jokes, your thoughts, your experiences to be heard by others. That's when you know you can become a stand-up comedian. It's not because you nail it the first night or the first 15th night. I mean, the first 15 times would be terrible. But just that you go back there and you want to be on that stage holding a mic, talking to people and sharing your ideas on whatever it is. That's when you know you're a stand-up comic. I think if you're fake, you're not going to be a good comic. I think if you're overconfident and you have everything in life, you're not going to make it as a comic. You've got to have some issues, because if life is perfect, it's boring, right? I think society is sensitive in the form that it hides behind a lot of these supposed political correct terms. I think people say, of course, education is important when it comes to awareness and sensitization, which is true. It's not the academic education, it's the education of the emotion. Just be a child, have fun, make mistakes, get hurt, and hurt people, because that's the only way you'll know. And the most important, I'd say, is that don't compete for competition. Don't let competition drive your life, because you're going to ruin a lot of relationships through that. And don't just, I'd say, be original, be true to yourself, have fun, make mistakes. So it's cool to be average. It's cool to be normal. It's cool to be abnormal. It's cool to be even below normal, because normal is what? Normal is what's defined by others. If you think you're normal and you're having fun, go for it. I think I'd like to tell a lot of the teachers that enjoy what you're doing. It's really stupid that you mug up something and then ask someone else to mug up what you've mugged up. It's like a cycle of mugging up, and no one learns. So I think you should learn, and then the students will learn. The thing I'd like to say to people when it comes to disability is just, I don't know if words like sympathy, empathy are overused or underused, but I just want to say there are different groups like women, men, and there are disabled people, there are gay people, there are different kinds of people. So, and there are overlaps within these groups. So it just takes all to make this world. So just accept that. Just be aware of others. I think being selfish is a little too much, and so don't be greedy. I feel like I'm like a. Can I have like a three, like a mark in this bit, like Nityananda? That's when the chicks come. Anyway, but just don't be greedy. Just have fun in life. Um, just accept that it takes all to make this world, and there are multiple kinds of people, and just be kind to everyone. Like, you don't have to be kind to someone because they're disabled. Just be kind to someone because they're a person.